hi. Yeah, let's do that over. All right, good afternoon. This is Dynamic Photowerks, Josh Way here. We're still doing car videos, but we're gonna do it a lot differently this time. So the vlogs are gone. We're not gonna do that anymore because I am not nearly interesting enough to continue doing that regular. Instead, we're gonna do more feature films on unique individuals here in Minnesota and their cars. So to start it off, we're gonna be going with a car that's very near and dear to my heart, a 2016 981 Porsche Cayman GT4. Not only is it the successor to the successor of my ancient 2007 987, but it is the GT car. And to explain a little bit about what that means, we're gonna invite in the owner of it, Jeff. All right, so you own this 2016, did you buy it new?
I bought it used, picked it up last year.
And was it something that you knew about right when it was first built? What was the interest?
I knew about it, I saw it, but it was can't get one, you gotta wait. I kind of said, well, that's really what I'd like to have, and then it kind of went away.
Did you have other Porsches at the time?
Nope, that was my first one.
This is the first one?
Yep.
Okay. And what drew you to the GT4?
Well, I went to the dealer to look at a different car, and it was sitting there, and there was love at first sit.
Right.
As soon as I got in that carbon fiber bucket, it was over.
I get it. What about what does the GT really mean? I mean, it's the track cars. I mean, it's all.
Yeah, it's more leaning toward track versus street, obviously.
Okay.
You can do both.
Right, and we're going to go through all the options and kind of the specs of what makes that happen. But obviously, the GT cars, all GT Porsches they have more racing components. They're not as comfortable for the street use, but they're for hardcore track use, and you do that.
Yep. That's that was the first thing I did after 2 weeks after I got it. Took it up to Brainerd, and now I'm addicted.
You're hooked.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. It's certainly a gorgeous car. I approve of the white, and yeah, it looks sweet.
Thanks.
We're gonna go through all the options and what you've done to it yourself too, when we're driving. But yeah, sounds great. So let's hit the road.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Edit.
All right, so we're in the car now. We're out going for a little drive. I first wanted to start off and kind of go over the car itself. It's not going to be anything you haven't heard before. I mean, there's a lot of videos out on this already. But the car is a 2016. It's a manual shift only, except for the club sports, which are race cars.
Yep.
Was it 385 horsepower?
Yes, correct.
And it's a 4 liter, or is it a 3.8? I forgot.
3.8.
It's a 3.8 Carrera motor, flat 6.
Yeah, Carrera S motor.
Carrera S motor, right? Yeah, it's a good power curve though. I mean, it's pretty linear, and then once it gets to the upper end of things, it does pull. That's where the real power is at.
Yeah, and this car really, to me, it's not about specs. It just has a feel to it that is, when you put everything perfectly together. If you ever had that dirt bike or that snowmobile that you just felt you were part of when you rode it,
right?
That's exactly what this car is.
Right.
Just everything is in the right place, does the right thing.
Well, that's the other the beautiful thing about this car, in my opinion, is that there's nothing here that's really excessive. In fact, all the infotainment stuff was an option.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an option. You didn't even have to get that.
And I hardly ever listen to the radio in this car because you got that exhaust note.
Right. When you're out cruising deliberately for that, yep. Radio is off. Yeah, 385 horsepower. Some might say it's a little bit low, but it's really about how this car carries the speed.
Correct.
And obviously it's really built to be on the track, and to drive it on the road is obviously still very special, but you know you're not going to touch its limits, even getting close to them.
Yeah, it would take a long time to do that.
Right. So what makes this car special is it's got all that GT3 stuff on it. So it's got the brakes. Hold on, we got a tunnel.
Yeah.
It's got GT3 brakes on it. It's got the GT3 front suspension. It's what else? It's got obviously the Carrera motor, which is the bigger motor.
Yeah, and then I had Ryan Gates over at 311 RS. You corner balanced it, did a little bit of suspension work to it.
Yep. Because is this stock suspension?
No, there's just put some rear toe links in it, some rear toe links. But
so just to get a little bit more tuned in.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Exactly.
And we got a cage here. Let's talk about that.
Yep, that was from Competition Motorsports. It's the cool thing about this cage is it doesn't pierce the carpet anywhere.
Yep.
And you can buy the stock interior pieces that are pre-cut, so you can you don't have to. You can save your original ones.
Okay. And yeah, if you wanted to like get it out, you could just get it out. Okay, to bolt in.
Return it right back to stock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good looking thing, and it's certainly, if you're going to track your car, it obviously is nice just for a little added safety.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got a little bit of a suspension tuning. We've got this cage in here. We've got a kind of a cool. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, it's just a
clip-on wider mirror,
so you can get a little more peripheral vision.
Right, without having to maybe glance side to side as much. So that's a nice little option. This car, just looking around it, based on my limited knowledge of Porsche, I can see it's got a few options from the factory, which has got the full leather wrap dash, which looks gorgeous. It's got the full racing bucket seats, which these are pretty much straight out of the 918.
Correct. Yep.
So yeah,
steering wheel's out of the 918 also.
Yeah, it's just a great steering wheel. I love this car.
Like I said, this car is about feel and sound.
It certainly still makes you feel special.
It does. It communicates so well in corners, and when you're at the limit, you just know what it's doing all the time.
Exactly.
There's no surprises really ever in it.
Right.
Exactly. It's a nice dive.
And you were just at the track a couple weekends ago. And I could hear your brakes squeaking a little bit. Is that just from wear, or is that, do you have different pads in there?
It's just life with steel brakes in a car like this. It just they don't when you get them hot at the track, they don't squeak, but around town they just squeak, and that's life.
So did you care that this car did not have the carbon ceramics?
No, actually I preferred it because it's obviously cheaper to do the brakes when you need to do them.
It honestly feels so, I mean,
it's the go-kart you always wanted.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it right around, I think. But
yeah,
the steering feel, like, it's an actual sensation that runs up your arm when you're going fast. Yikes.
And it's so pinpoint.
Right. I mean, it is just coming around these few turns here, even at 40 miles an hour, makes you feel like a freaking rock star.
It does. And between the steering, the brakes, and the throttle, you can just kind of do anything you want with it.
Modulate each like beautifully. I mean, I heard the car at its limits has a little bit of understeer, and that was on purpose. But I think with a little bit of suspension tuning, you can pretty much get that
311
worked out.
Took that out for me. And it's. I mean, if you go in a corner hard, it'll just move sideways.
Right.
The tires are the limit on this thing right now. I've got Pilot 4S's on it.
So that exhaust, you got the sport exhaust on, and does that come standard, right?
Yep.
On the GT4.
Yeah, standard, yep.
And that just is the valves and everything opening up.
Yep. It's got auto blip and then suspension.
Let's put that back on. Yeah, I mean, with the sport mode on, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like it auto rev matches as you downshift.
Correct.
And it could make literally anyone look like a total beast.
I'm a perfect example.
Right. So on the track, you were rocking that?
Yeah, I was
so you didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah, I've been driving S4 flabby paddles for a long time, and before I got this car, I hadn't. It's been a long time since I've been in a manual, and oh my god, I just love it. It's
right.
I wouldn't change it for the world. It's got such a great gearbox in it too. It's amazing.
Okay. Oh, it just sounds so good.
I mean, everyone should drive this car just to. Then you can. It's way easier to explain.
Yeah. And also, we talked about it already in private, but on camera, the seats, like, how comfortable are they really? I mean, tell me about how much time you have.
I read things where some people, for me, body-wise, it fit me great. Driving to the track 2.5 hours, not a problem once. I mean, I could spend all day in them. That's really one of the things when the minute I sat in the car, that seat was great. It was great.
They're obviously very upright, but they also hit you in all the right spots. So it's not like an uncomfortable racing seat.
No. I will say, not the most graceful to get in and out of if you don't have a little technique developed. But once you're in them, you just can't beat it. And then with the harnesses pulling you into them, it's awesome.
Because you were rocking the harnesses at the track.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to close the door before you get harnessed in, otherwise you might not reach.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh. Yep. So far. So, any issues? Has the car ever had an issue? Have you had any issues?
No issues whatsoever. None.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously a good thing about Porsche.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You show it love, and it'll always be there for you as well. You know.
And you gotta love it. They warranty it for track use. So.
What?
It's warranted for track use.
Oh, right.
It's built for it.
Right.
You know, in a different kind of car, you'd feel kind of bad, like you're taking a toll on it, and These things just live for it.
Right.
You can feel how flat it is.
Oh, that gearbox is seriously, it's just majestic.
It puts a smile on your face.
Yeah, and I was also gonna say, like, anyone that is like curious, I mean, the storage space in a Cayman is better than a 911. It's so good on the practicality side as well as the sports car side. You've got the entire front, which is the same as a 911, but the 911's got a back seat, which this doesn't, but it's really hard to access and still quite small. This has got a very easily accessible trunk, and there's room on top of the motor as well, so it's really great. And of course the interior is filled with some little hidden spots in the doors and the door pulls, glove box, under your arm here. There are a plethora of spots for storage.
The brakes too are,
they are really
fabulous.
Good. Right, and it's hard to believe that the carbon ceramics would be worth the extra money, because it's like, these are amazing.
Yeah, I would just hate to replace those carbon ceramics. So the steel.
What is it, like 10 grand or so?
Yeah, I think probably at least. Yeah. The steel's a known commodity, and you can burn them up and put new ones on.
With regular track use. But if you're just street driving, they should last a very long time. Certainly longer than steel.
And in everything I read, because they squeak like, I mean, it squeaks like a dump truck, but it's just the way it is.
Right. Yeah, it all kicks in right around maybe 5,300 is where the fun starts.
Exactly. And you can drive it. It drives really tame. You know, I hardly ever get into sixth on it. It's 80. I think it's 84 in second gear.
Right.
It's got a really tall second gear.
That's one thing that people kind of complain about, though, too.
Agreed. Yeah.
Is that you never really are shifting a whole lot if you're conservatively driving.
Yeah.
If you are looking for anything like this, obviously highly recommend it, because it is something special. Even 3 years old now, I think it's going to be collectible. I think it's going to be highly sought after for years, and I think the market price is still proof of that.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those cars you can keep for 20 years too. It's always going to be pretty awesome.
Right. Well, it certainly sounds awesome.
It really does.
All right, so we are back. We're coming back to our starting point, and obviously tremendous thanks for having me out here to do it, and hope that everyone enjoyed the video, and there's going to be plenty more to come.
Sounds good. Pleasure having you.
So to quickly sum up my thoughts on the GT4, it's a tack-sharp, smile-inducing beauty. Anyone who says a GT4 isn't a great car likely hasn't driven one. Yes, it could have a little bit more power, and yes, the gears are a little tall, but for the street or the track, it can keep up with almost anything. Being an owner of a Cayman myself, I may be a little biased, but you can't argue with the fact that the GT4 is the full package. Looks, performance, and decent practicality, together with some of the great options such as the full leather and the carbon fiber bucket seats, it makes any drive an event to remember. And let's not forget the epic gearbox and the wicked sounding exhaust note. I want to thank the owner, Jeff, again for the opportunity to get behind the wheel and remind myself just how special the GT4 is. Also worth noting, the dynamic Photowerks shirt you see me wearing is available for purchase in 3 different colors along with hats. If you wanted one, contact me on my Facebook or Instagram accounts. And finally, don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this one, featuring mostly Minnesota-based unique cars and their owners. Thank you for watching.